Okay. Hello, Laurie. Let's get to work on those hips and lower back, all of it. So once you start on all fours, let's take 2 deep breaths right here. Take a nice deep breath into your cow and cat. Nice and slow. One more time. Get those shoulders down from your ears. Feel free to press pause at any time during this series of mobility stretches. So we're going to curl the toes under and come straight on up into your down dog. I'm going to assume that you're already warmed up to some degree. And we're going to walk the dog. Okay, so focusing right now on the calves. And then we're going to focus on the shoulders and then try to put it all together. So nice deep breath. All right, now come on out of it with the shoulders and take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, press those shoulders towards your knees. And do that a couple more times. So take a nice deep breath in, rounding the spine. And then as you breathe out, press those shoulders towards the knees. So when you do that, let's do it again. I want you to think of lifting your tailbone up. I'm lifting from here up towards the ceiling without lifting the heels. Now I want to press the heels down. So we're going to do it all together. Breathe in, come out of it. And as you breathe out, lift the tailbone, press the chest forward, and sink your heels down. And let's relax the head. So feel free to do that as many times as you would like. And then let's sit down into child's pose just to give the wrists a little break before we move on. I like to round out the wrists, also pulling the fingers in. Also, yes, didn't we do this when we were children in sports? Okay, so anything in this variety of movements is also fantastic. Okay, so when we're ready, we're actually going to attempt a couple of striking cobras. If your shoulder's okay, so I'm just going to show it twice, and if your shoulder's not good for this yet, then we'll come back to it another time. So I'm going to give you a little help here with the elbows. I want your elbows to come down. The hips are going to come up. So normally the elbows would be off of the floor, but we're going to help you out here. Slowly come forward. And then lift the elbows when you need to and come up into your cobra, which does not have to be very high. I really want you to just be aware of what your lower back is saying to you. So take a deep breath in, get the shoulders down and back. Breathe out and just lift up to where you feel comfortable. Okay? So what we're going to do, one more time, deep breath in, breathe out and lift. You can do that a few times, especially if you're not warmed up, 4, 5, 6 times even. I'm just going to shift my hips back to my heels. Push. Use the arm strength and sit back. Drop the head down. Pull your tailbone in towards your heels. And let's try that again. Come on slowly. Forward, forward, forward. So this part here can get tricky, right? So if you want to pick up the elbows before you get there, if you want to not go so high, okay, lower is going to be tougher. Come around and up. Okay. Now let's get to that hip work. So keeping your knees on the floor, we're going to push up, curl the toes under, get up into our down dog, walk the dog, and feel free to do a couple more deep breaths. I'm going to move along. So we're going to take the right leg up. So our goal is to take the right leg up while we sink the left heel back down. Okay? And still, paying attention to the shoulders. And we're going to bring the right foot all the way to the top of the mat. So feel free, take that hand and use it if you need to. It's no problem. We just want to make sure we're there and not here. Right? Boom. Foot right between the hands. This is where your yoga blocks are going to come in really handy. So I'm going to grab those and put them under my hands. That way we can get the full extension of the elbows and still have the hands flat. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to work here just on trying to get the range of motion through that back hip flexor. Breathe in and release. Breathe out. Breathe in and release. Breathe out. And feel free to do that a couple more times. Bring it down. We're going to continue. Flatten out the foot. At any time, if your wrists are problematic, I like this position also. I even like this position. Doesn't have to look perfect. Deep breath in. Shift your hips slightly back. Breathe out. Shift the hips forward. Again, breathe in. Breathe out. Okay, so opening up this back hip is really important. You're also going to feel possibly the stretch through here. Also good. Now, bring both yoga blocks to the inside of your foot. And you can stay upright, but I always like to give the wrists a break. So I'm going to shift down. If that's too low, stack and come down. Now, we've done this before. We're going to slowly, gently press the knee away. Okay? Now you can easily, slowly use some mobility. Get those shoulders, always be aware of what your shoulders are doing. You can come back and forth and just slowly mobilize that hip. Good. Feels great. So I'm going to continue on this side. Before we continue, I always like to go bent leg, straight leg, bent leg, straight leg. Because if we are in a bent leg position for too long, it just doesn't feel that good. So we're going to get this position or from the yoga blocks and pull up those toes. We're going to get that hamstring stretch. We're going to move on from this. Deep breath in and breathe out and drop down to where you feel a good stretch through your hamstring. Feel free, bring your forehead towards your leg. It doesn't have to be far. You can point and flex the ankle. Okay. As low as you feel you can. And then come on back up. So you can stay as you are. And rotate and bring the right arm up. You're going to feel this one all through the outside of that hamstring. And it's good. So again, point and flex the ankle. If it gives you a little bit of relief, stack the yoga blocks. Come down to the elbow if that's too far. Okay, so all of these positions are great. Just find one that works for you. And now we're going to go back into a bent leg position for the next one. So here, bring that foot across. Now, if you want to go ahead and do down dog to cobra, to right leg up, to right knee forward, feel free. You can go through the flow, or you can just go right into this position. And we've got our comfortable hip stretch. So come on down and take a couple of deep breaths here. So as we've discussed before, your body naturally just wants to rest in its most comfortable position. Now what we can do though, if we want, is work on some new positions. So I just want you to slide your foot up. It doesn't have to be, maybe an inch at a time. And then slowly try to bring your hips square again to the front. Good. So we're rocking back and forth. Again, at any time, grabbing your blocks to give your wrists a break. And I love that feeling of the new stretch. It really, really feels good. So you can go back to your comfort zone, shift back again. Feel free to do that a couple of times. Darn, that feels good. Okay, so staying on this side, you are going to now take your back leg. So left leg is going to come on around, and you, I know, can do this. So feel free. For anybody else that might be doing this with you, you can tuck the foot underneath. Okay, otherwise, if you're comfortable doing that, here we are. Take a nice deep breath in. And on your stiffer days, as you breathe out, you can come on down to your blocks. And as you get further and further down, you can start to remove the blocks. So I know you like to stay here for a good amount of time, so feel free to do that if you would like to. Some nice deep breaths and slowly, gently getting further and deeper into your stretch. Good. Now, you can press pause right here and repeat all of that on the other side, okay? So here would be a good time to pause. So hopefully you've added in a few down dogs to cobras, and that can be a good warm up too, just flowing in and out of your cobra and your down dogs. And now I'm going to bring you into the next part of our stretch, which we did together. Right, straighten out those legs as we discussed before we bend them again. We definitely want to straighten them out. I like doing this, and I like doing this. Deep breath in. Breathe out and reach. Deep breath in. Right hand going to left ankle. Breathe out and reach. Deep breath in. Switching side. Breathe out and reach. Toes up. Deep breath in. Maybe a little bit wider. Breathe out and reach. Right? One more to each side. Just thought of another one for you. Breathe out and reach. So before you go on to this one, please make sure you have done the rolling with the ball against the wall for your pec minor. So right under the shoulder joint, release there. Or do the stretch, do the release, and do the stretch again and see for fun if it makes a difference. Love it. Okay, so we're going to get into our fetal position here. Curling those knees right up and taking your top ankle, and we're going to slowly pull that knee back. So your whole body is going to start to slip and slide, and it's going to want to rotate. So I'm going to face you backwards for just a moment, okay, to review what's going to happen with the foot. Because if we put the toes down here, it's not going to be very comfortable. So what I like to do is actually this. Flex the foot, place the foot down so it's nice and solid here. And then rotate. So this knee is up, still in the fetal position. This foot is nice and strong, but I can still keep pulling it and wiggling it up further this way. And open up. So here's where we want to see what your shoulders are doing. Use your breath. If you want to make it dynamic, you can breathe in. And you can breathe out. Look towards your hand. Have an eye on what that shoulder is doing. Breathe it in and breathe it out. And is your left shoulder getting closer to the floor or not? And we can bring this back up. We can shift this back up. We can push this down. We can tighten this glute to point that hip open again, opening up through here. So many things you can sort of work on here. You just relax. You can just relax and breathe. Also good. So before we go on to the other side, we're in a good position just to flip onto our backs and place the left foot over the right knee, okay? And then rock. Okay, so this one, again, if you're feeling, okay, I'm tight somewhere, then stay. You can spend a little bit more time where you're feeling that. The one I was trying to show you the other day, maybe if I go this way. Okay, that's the blender. It won't be going for very long. So the knee is coming towards the ground, and then the foot is coming towards the ground. So it was over on this side. Foot towards the ground, hand goes to the inside of the knee, and I'm simply doing this. And I'm feeling the stretch over here. But if you don't, if you're like, nope, doesn't do anything for me, then you can also just work on this one, right? Pulling the knee in and out, holding or using your breath, straightening that knee if you want to at any point. Okay, good. So that's a whole bunch of different angles for the hip. Now, I am going to flip on over and get the right quad. Now, fetal position, important. Come on up. Bring it back. Okay, you can stay here, right here, as long as you would like. Also a good stretch, support your head. And when you're ready, boom, there it goes. Okay, flattening out the foot and making sure this knee is up as much as possible. Foot is going back as much as possible. What's going on here? Pushing the hip forward, maybe pushing the knee down. And then, boom, what's happening with the shoulders? Okay, nice deep breath. Working the right shoulder this time. Or if you have no problem, then simply working wherever you feel your blockage is. Shift the foot up a little higher. Holes if you want right here. Whatever feels good for you. Good, and then when you're ready, again, press pause at any time. I did less on this side, just to show you what's going on. That back leg, now it's the right foot, is going to go over the left knee. And we're going to go right side rotations. It's for the lower back as well. Now this side for me, if I push that knee away, I'm feeling it a lot more in this hip. So I'm going to spend a little time doing that or this on this hip. Okay? So you spend time where you feel you need it, and it might be over here. Who knows? All good. Okay? So when you're ready, you can do a few rocking horses. They always feel good. You can also go into any kind of grip that you like for happy baby pose. All fine, all good. And this is always a nice little pose to work with. You can pull the toes down. You can work on straightening one leg at a time because it feels good. There we go. Okay. And that is the end of our series that we covered on Wednesday. And don't forget to roll right there. Very, very, very important. So thank you very much. And I hope this was helpful. Bye-bye.